Eli Barnett. I was with the 8th Air Force. Where is this going to be sent to?
The Library of Congress.
Okay. That's very nice.
And then we'll also,
and a lot of kids are doing that now.
yeah, and we're also going to give you a copy so that you can have for yourself, and if you want more, I can get you more,
nice.
and you can
Very
give it
nice.
to your family if you want.
Very nice.
So go ahead and just restate your name and say what you did, and we'll ask you these questions.
Okay. Oh, my name and what else?
And what you did in the Army, in the
I
Air
was
Force.
the engineer, gunner, or flight engineer on B-17 Flying Fortress. What else?
So what were your reasons behind joining the service?
For what?
What were your reasons behind joining the service?
My reason for what? My hearing isn't that great.
For joining the service, for joining the Air Force.
I decided to volunteer.
And you said you
Patriotism, essentially.
Right. And you said you were 16 or 17, did you say?
I was 18 years of age.
And what were you doing before you joined the service?
I was going to Northeastern Engineering College at the time.
And you were in the Bomber Squadron, we know that?
Correct. I was in the 306 Bomb Group, 423rd Squadron. Also called the 40th Combat Wing. 40th Combat Wing, 306 Bomb Group. What else? 8th Air Force. And the 8th Air Force was comprised of B-17 Fortresses, which we flew in, and also the B-24 bombers, the consolidated Vultee bomber. That's the one with the twin tails. And what else?
How would you say your parents felt
What's that?
How would you say your parents felt about you joining the service?
Well, I felt kind of bad because they lost kin during the First World War, so they weren't too happy, but they were happy about my patriotism, and which they very much were proud of. The only parent I had left was my father. Essentially, my mother had died a couple of years previous to that.
Now, you did your basic training in Florida.
In Florida.
Did you only fly bombers there, or did you fly...
Well, basic training was basically like infantry training. Everybody got that.
Okay.
And then from there on, I went to the technical schools. I went to the Boeing B-17 school for 1 year to learn that plane from tail to nose. And when I got out, I then became the engineer or flight engineer gunner on the B-17. Is there anything else?
Yep. We get more. Six.
What was there a culture shock on your part meeting?
Was there what?
Culture shock on your part meeting people from all over the country? Was it like?
I mean, where they all come from?
No, more how you felt about meeting basically
Yeah.
everybody from the United States.
Meeting different
People from like the West
No
Coast, the
problem.
East Coast?
No problem.
Y'all got along
No
well?
problem at all. It's just like meeting somebody from Swampscott who may have come from the West Coast somewhere, Texas, or any other far out places.
Right.
I had no compunctions against that. No problem.
Were there any other interesting stories you have from your basic training experience?
Nothing really, just routine, that's all it was. That's all it was, just routine. Basic was just like, it's not gonna, relate much to the combat experience.
Yeah.
It was just routine. It was all routine.
In what zones of combat did you actually see action?
I was European. That was it. right after the, France and Germany and Belgium, all over Europe.
And you had no preference or to which theater you were in?
No, it didn't matter to me. Wherever they sent me, that's the way I looked at it.
Did you feel that the attack on the Europe side was more important than the Pacific side, or vice versa?
Well, I thought that each one had their own importance there. The Pacific had their importance there. There's a lot of that was related to the naval encounters with the Japanese Navy. And that was the Japanese Navy and the Japanese Air Force. I had no preference. Didn't matter. We were trained to encounter either the Pacific or the European theater. Didn't matter.
Do you feel at all that the front on the Pacific side was a racist war? Do you feel that the war in the Pacific was a racist war on either our or the Japanese part?
I don't think it was essentially racist. You mean from our point of view?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so at the time. It's just go get the enemy and do them in. That was it. Go get it. The slogan in those days was "Kill or be killed."
Right.
That was it. Regardless of who they were, the Japanese or the Germans, you either kill him or you get killed. Get him before he gets you.
Right. If you want, you can read us through your targets, and if you want, you can say a little bit about what happened at each or what your mission was on each, if you want.
Yeah, it was, as far as my memory, I can.
I mean, if you don't remember specifics about the mission, that's fine. You can just.
I
give us like a
I have
general
some
overview.
specific memories
Okay.
that still stands in my mind, like the Caen area, northern France. We had to do away with the tremendous amount of German Panzer units. The Tiger tanks were lined up against the British Army and the American forces, and as I recall, our only thought was to get them before they get us and clear them out. And we went in there in that area in Caen, northern France, at a lower altitude than we normally fly, about 8,000 to 10,000 feet. And we dropped our bombs right on the German Panzers. And they in turn took their 88 millimeters and turned them on us. And, but we got them. And what was left like a junkyard there when we got through with them. And then the American forces were able to push through from that northern portion of France. That was a very very important mission there in the Caen area. C-A-E-N, Caen. So, as I recall, that was a very important run. Then I can maybe point out some others that may have been of importance there. We went after factories that were making their aircraft, their fighters, bombers, and we sought to destroy them. Let's see. Some of the cities like Frankfurt may have been involved in manufacturing. Wilhelmshaven was more like a naval operation there in Germany. Ludwigshafen, I was manufacturing. Stuttgart, they were doing manufacturing there, and we sought to destroy their manufacturing capability. And we were successful. I think it shortened the war quite a bit. in the European theater. Shortened it tremendously.
Right.
I think did a lot of good there. Saved a lot of lives there. See, is there anything else specific you want to?
Which would you say was the most dangerous mission that you went on?
The one, my 28th raid into Gera, that was where they were manufacturing the high-octane fuel out of coal, synthesizing coal into high-octane fuel. That was the most dangerous.
Now you had mentioned that there was a lot of flak.
Tremendous amount of flak.
Was there any German fighter pilots that were attacking you as well, or?
There were some that came in. They were so they were so intent in going after us that they flew into their own flak and were getting shot down by their own anti-aircraft. Can you imagine that?
Mm.
Unbelievable. That was weird.
Did you feel that your superior officers were trustworthy, knowledgeable, and inspiring?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
And did you ever refuse to obey an order they gave you?
Never.
Did you ever question an order though?
Huh?
Did you ever question any of the orders, or did you just straight up obey?
They were right on it. They were right with it.
Did you ever have any contact with the SS troops at all?
Not personal contact, but by bombing, we bombed them quite a bit.
How did the people of Italy, France, and Germany, wherever you were, how did they treat you? Did you ever encounter them personally?
Only after the war. And they seemed to be nice.
Did they seem grateful for the help and everything?
I think the French were grateful for what we did for liberating them.
And what base did you fly out of? Did you fly out of
England? I flew out of a base there called, it was right near the city of Bedford St. John's in England.
Do you feel that there are any misconceptions by the American public about World War II from movies like Saving Private Ryan or TV shows like Band of Brothers?
Any misconceptions about the war?
Yeah, like any way that entertainment portrays World War II. Do you think it's accurate, or do you think people get the wrong impression from those?
Oh, not generally. They were pretty good. Pretty good. Every encounter I have with people when I talk about World War II and they come up to me, they thank me very much. That seems to be the attitude. I think the American people are very grateful for what any of the veterans accomplished to keep our country free. So they'll come up and say, thank you very much. So there's no problem. No problem. I think the American people are very grateful. They are.
How would you sum up the Allies' efforts in World War II?
The Allied effort
Yeah.
was very good.
Do you think it advanced slowly, or?
The British did their job. Basically, we used to take off in the morning, like 2 o'clock in the morning, and the RAF would be coming back from their missions. And any of the contact I had with the Royal Air Force were very nice. There were times that we had to land in their airfields, and they were extremely nice. They were very nice. Got along very well with them. The Brits and ourselves got along very well, the Royal Air Force.
How would you sum up your own efforts? Would you say they're...
The what?
How would you sum up your own efforts? Like, how would you view them?
I sum up my effort. I felt that we did the job we were sent out to do, and I think it was done well.
And how many years were you in the war? How many years did you serve in the war?
It's basically, it was a little less than 3 years.
Were you in any other wars after that, or?
No, no. Came close to volunteering before the Korean War broke out. But then certain things came up. Actually, there were no jobs at the time, and the job markets opened up, and things were okay.
Now, do you carry any animosity towards your old enemies, like Germany or?
The former enemies?
Yeah.
None at all, no. No, I dealt with German engineers after the war. I was in the engineering field, and there was no problem. They seemed to be very congenial, and no problem. Had no problems at all.
I think that's about it. Well, Eli, thank you very much for your time. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.